feedback, how they position themselves, right? The product, the most especially most of you will go to check if there is any bad review, right? Probably somebody has gone to the comment section to say, I bought a product from this vendor and the person gave me what I ordered versus what I got, right? Now, if you do not see any bad reviews or bad remark, and you see that everybody that keep dropping comment have dropped a satisfactory comment that they actually love all their orders, what do? You are convinced at this point that yes, you can proceed into getting your products from this vendor, right? Yes, it applies with your LinkedIn. If your LinkedIn does not convince clients, some of you will open LinkedIn and you will just abandon it. No, and you expect jobs. It's not done that way. You are to optimize your LinkedIn to the extent that when recruiters comes across it, they are fully convinced that yes, you know what you are doing. So Remote Freedom Academy will teach you how to properly, yes, properly optimize your LinkedIn. Every section from the we have the about section, we have your profile picture, we have your cover letter, we have your certification section, your experience section, and many more down to your post. What you should do on your LinkedIn profile so that if any recruiter comes into check to inspect your LinkedIn, right? They already see something that magnets them that yes, this person knows what he or she is doing. Are you understanding me? Yes. So now the next is the bonus class, which is additional to this training, which is the basic to every client expects. Yes, working remotely, there are some basic tools you should have in-depth knowledge about. If you are a remote worker and you don't have in-depth knowledge about these tools, I am sorry to tell you, you will not land that job. You will not get that job. Why? Because you are confused. They will see you confused. They will see that you are positioning yourself as a confused person. Let's say a client asks you, okay, there is this particular project I want to work on, right? Okay, how are we going to go about it? But you are lost because you don't even know where to start from. You don't even know the tools to use in working for that project. Now you lose that job. A job that probably would have paid your bills and even more other things. Now you will lose it because you don't have any idea. Even the basic knowledge on general tools, you don't even know about it, and you are calling yourself a remote worker, right? Which is wrong. So Remote Freedom Academy is going to properly teach you on all of these tools. Now we have I'm also an author apart from being a remote worker, right? Where I have a book called 14 Secrets to Remote Freedom. My book is available on Seller, is available on Gumroad, is available on Amazon. So all you have to do is to search, use your search bar, and go ahead to get yourself a copy. But if you are attending my training, my book is inclusive with the training, right? Now, what does my book entails? All you need to know about being a remote worker. If you are lost in the dark, my book is a light to equip you and bring you out to you know be among the success stories of yes, I have been able to land a job. Now in my book I have time zones, various time understanding time zones, which is very important. If you're a remote worker, if your client says that the time to apply for a particular job, or let's just say um if you're a remote worker, right, and you have an interview section with a client, and let's say the client is from San Francisco or from, let's say, London, right? And he gives you or she gives you a time, and probably you are in Nigeria or you are a Kenyan. Now, some of you get it wrong in using your own country time, which is wrong. Anytime you are attending an interview section or a webinar or a training program, so far is virtual, online, you are to use that person's time, not your country time. The only time you use your country time is if that person is the same country, like you're in the same country, right? If you're a Nigerian and your interviewer is a Nigerian, or if you're a Kenyan and your interviewer is a Kenyan, or if you're in South Africa and your interviewer is also from South Africa, that is the only time you can say yes, I will use my own time zone, right? Of my own country. But if your time zone is different from that interviewer's time zone, please do not make the mistake of using your time zone. Instead, you should use your country time zone, right? And a lot more. We have resume templates, cover letter template, and so many more benefits you will get from my book. Now, what would you be able to do at the end of this training? You will properly create your resume tailored to stand out in every international job application. Yes, this is very vital. When you get to the stage that your resume is not seen as a confusion, rather as a value, then you know you have successfully hacked the proper strategy on how to pitch clients to be a remote worker. And that is what Remote Freedom Academy training will be all about, right? We will teach you and ground you till you get to the stage that your resume is speaking value, value, value. Now you will also be able to position your cover letter that makes recruiters want to keep reading. Just the way you always read that your favorite novel over and over again. So many of you, you have novels that you have read for so many times. You are always going back to that particular novel. Why? Because you find it so interesting that anytime you start reading it, it looks like you are reading it from the beginning. That is because the novel has captivated, has captured you, that you now find it, you are engrossed in it, right? That should apply also in your cover letter and your resume. When you get to the point that you are able to convince clients that they will be so much engrossed in your resume and cover letter, then you know you've hacked the strategy on how to position and pitch clients easily. Now, we also know how to position yourself to generate opportunities without waiting for job posting, which is very important. Positioning yourself to generate opportunities without waiting for job posting is very, very important. You don't need to wait for job applications, like I said earlier. You don't need to apply to a job that already have 100 applicants already in that job. All you have to do is learn the code pitch strategies and apply directly for that job in the CEO email, with the CEO email address in the email box, right? Some of you, many of you will get access to jobs easily with this strategy. So Remote Freedom Academy is going to properly teach you how to do this, right? Now the next is to be confident using tools client expect. I told you earlier that if you don't know how to use some certain tools, how will you be able to work on jobs? You want to be a remote worker, you want to be a remote worker, you want to be a remote worker. Now they are giving you a job. Work on these tasks, work on this project, work on this, but you are lost, you don't know what to do. Now you start shaking. Remember, there is a timing on when to submit that tax. Now you will not be able to submit because you don't know what to do, you are lost. That's when you start going online, searching, going to ChatGPT. How would I be able to do this? How will I be able to do that? How will I be able to do this? Time is going, right? And when you start, dropping, when you start submitting tax late, you will end up losing that job. So now you will be on an edge, you'll be on edge from those that don't even have any idea on what tools to use, right? Because we will teach you on the tools you should know. Now, this will now equip you into being able to work on tax confidently. If a client asks you, I want you to work on this particular tax, can you do this? You will say, yes, I can. Why? Because Remote Freedom Academy has already equipped you on how to work on that tax. Now, the next is how to build a remote work setup without overspending. Yes, you don't need to break the bank before you have a remote workspace. Everybody started from somewhere. The most important is to have the basic tools and necessities so that you can start as a remote worker, right? You don't need to start getting this, that, every single thing you see online. There are the most important things you should have on ground, and this is what Remote Freedom Academy will teach you properly. If you are a remote, if you're in customer support, there are some certain tools you should have. If you're an affiliate marketer, there are some certain tools you should have. If you're a virtual assistant, there are some certain tools you should have. So far you are working virtually and remotely, there are some certain tools you should have, right? And this is where Remote Freedom Academy will properly teach you how to use these tools and how you can display them on your remote workspace. That is in remote workspace, right? So when client gets to see them, they're already convinced that you know what you are doing. Now, you will also be taught on how to get a clear direction of where to apply and land high paying remote jobs and gigs. Yes, these 35 job platforms I told you earlier on, you must land a remote job if you are serious about changing your remote career. If you are serious on pitching yourself to high paying job, yes, you will land a remote job from these platforms, right? You will also learn how to structure your portfolio that attract clients instantly. Yes, I said earlier, you are always engrossed in that your favorite novel because you find it interesting. So when a client sees your portfolio and they are interested always in going back to that portfolio, just know you have hacked the strategy on how to pitch clients easily, right? And then you'll be able to transform your LinkedIn profile into a recruiter's magnet. Yes, your LinkedIn is your selling point. It is just like a vendor's page where you go to check to convince you if that vendor is worth you buying a product from, right? Same with your LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn is where your client goes to get convinced if you are worth giving that position or not. So yes, your LinkedIn should not be dumped. You should transform it into a profile that recruiters cannot stop going into because they are vowed, right? So yes, Remote Freedom Academy is going to properly train you on that. Now, lastly, how to equip yourself with in-demand client ready skill. Very important. Are you understanding me? If you get to the point where you are able to equip yourself with in-demand client ready skills, then you know that you have an edge to those that don't even know where to start, right? So yes, Remote Freedom Academy is going to be teaching you properly with 10 video course tutorials. Yes, 10 video course tutorials. Details on every of this from number one to the last, and you must land a remote job. If you are serious and you take all of this, properly, yes, you will land